Hello, I have built a new function in my Laravel project regarding Farmerswife, and I think it's very interesting. So I wanted to show it, and we will see what you think of it. But it's quite substantial because for the first time ever, and so it's quite a historic moment. Well, I have already proven with my importer-exporter that I can shoot remotely into a booking system. But with Schedule All, it was always just possible to read something, and it was a custom-built, very, very manual way of getting the data out. But here we have at least an API, and while I was able to read the API in my here in my Laravel app, now comes the moment where you can manually create bookings remotely in Farmerswife, and that's a substantial progress. So just want to make sure that before demonstrating my code is okay. It's here because normally what I usually do is to check on my GitHub repository if I'm on the latest code, because the deployment is also, that's also something totally new, is remote. So it's for the first time I'm not using FTP or anything like that to deploy my code, but I have it on the cloud and it's remotely controlled. It runs via GitHub. GitHub is this cloud repository for code, and here you see my latest contributions. And when I see here's my project of eDash. And when I'm going on the commits are code changes, individual ones, and they are all numbered, they have all a code. Here was the last debugging I did, so this is the number of the change, so I can even see what I changed, where, in what file. And so if I want now to go to Forge, that's the platform from Laravel, which I'm using to deploy on DigitalOcean, because DigitalOcean is the cloud it's not AWS where I have it located, hosted, but on DigitalOcean, and in Amsterdam, but it's remote control by Laravel Forge. So and here, if I'm reading, I see that my latest commit is this number here. So that is the it's matching, I think. So if I'm looking here, 659B753, and here it's so this is exactly the commit that I made. So usually when I want to deploy, I'm clicking this button here, and he will then deploy latest code. But as the code is already the same, he will normally recognize that there is no change. So because it's the same thing. But this is what it's usually, how long it's usually taking for me to update the website with the latest changes. Because it's not only deploying, it also always checks what if the server is all right, if the server is updated, and it includes that in the deployment. So this is what a remote control site looks like, and I have for the moment only one app, but I can remote control more than this. Okay, so this is the so my website here is up to date, and let's see on Farmerswife how the situation looks like. And in order to demonstrate how my system works, well, let's see here how the booking situation for today looks like. I mean, it's a demo. So I have a triple here, I have two doubles here. So if you go and open those, you see that there's a triple. So I can even shift it to a new time. So this is a triple, and these are two doubles. So if I'm moving the double, it looks like that. So this is the booking situation. So let's see, I want to book a triple over here, right? So I'm going now to my new remote function. This is now the first more simplified page. So the date is today, or by default. I'm checking a partner, let's say VTM. Now imagine, it's not working yet, but if you select a partner now, likewise to schedule also, because Farmerswife is not capable of this. So the problem with Farmerswife is that if I'm making a booking, I have to manually choose all these parameters, program. So you, as soon as you select another partner, there's nothing that changes automatically. So you need to know if this is program, news, monthly allowance, the band needs you need to put, and so there is not really a lot of default stuff. So you need to make sure that you enter that properly, and that's can obviously be annoying coming from schedule all. And that's where in some cases I'm offering this additional option here to shoot the booking. So if you are unsure what is the right settings, well, you're using this thingy here. So you select VTM and imagine it would automatically toggle to the default contractual setting for a booking, which would be program in their case. Okay, and then I'm checking, I'm selecting the bandwidth, let's say double or here triple, and then I'm choosing the time. And here comes now the thing. I try to choose a time that's basically, so now imagine if you select those times here, it will automatically update this end time also to be always 10 or 15 minutes later than the time you selected here. So this will also be automized and be a single page application style. So I'm going until 50, let's say even 13, so that it's a longer one. And then I'm test 3, description test 3. There will be more fields, of course. Let's see again how the situation looks like here. Okay, and let's shoot. Poof. And look what happens. So he said it's today triple program from 12:35 to 13:50. There will obviously be a return to normal page, but this is just for control. So you see that he noticed that the first available triple resource on our transponder is triple D1. So there is one, and the next ones are on the Eutelsat from 2 to 10. So now if I'm going to Farmerswife, you see here there has been a penciled, in the moment I put them on pencil when I'm shooting, he has properly found that there is a triple, so the triple can be hosted at that time in on D1, right? So he has done that very nicely, and he filled all the fields with the proper settings. Here's the bandwidth, so all these fields have the right information. And if you would now, from that moment on, if you would need more slots of that kind, well, with Farmerswife, it's quite easy to copy, because you just make on command and drift it over. You have a copy of the same slot, so you don't need to. So as long as you have one that has all the information, from that moment on, you can easily drag and drop copies of it elsewhere. So the heavy lifting of entering all the data has been done by shooting via my app. And that's also the idea behind this thing, is that it also should help the editorials. If there, for instance, for whatever reason, or somebody cannot log in into Farmerswife, or the client is not working or so, well, it's not necessary. They can go into the cloud app, and somebody calls and they need to find a slot for them. Well, you just shoot, they just shoot the booking via this, and it will automatically find the most suitable channel on the system. Obviously, on here you can in the app you can always see the status of the bookings as well, because I will of course make sure that whatever in Farmerswife, it gets always callback. There will always be a sync callback, that you always see the status of the day, well, in table form, but you can see the confirmed bookings, at least in table form. And if you have no access to Farmerswife, this will not be a problem. So, but you see here, this is this works. And so let's say you have now the situation that you want to, let's say here, add another double in this completely congested zone. Let's see, from 1300 to 1330. I can also demonstrate that. So sorry, I'm always ending up on add a booking from 1300 to 1310, or let's say 1225. I want a double. It's to be news. TVI, blah 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 blah. Let's see what he does. So he noticed there's no space. It gets automatically hosted on the Eutelsat resource, and yeah. And if you go here, well, you see he noticed that he cannot put it nowhere on the first 3 days. They are already occupied, so he chooses a pencil here because obviously now you need to fill out. So you need to find a Eutelsat resource because there is nothing else available, and but it holds already all the information. But now you have to go to Eutelsat and try to find a satellite and enter this information. But at least you don't need to add anything of that. What I will also do is when it goes to Eutelsat, I will automatically put the invoice type over to program, which is usually in those cases, in 90% of the cases, this is what we do to get the money back. Okay, so it will be easier to change it if it's not the case but in 90% it will always be programmed. So when this happens and it gets allocated over to Eutelsat, my system will automatically toggle it to program. So many of those mistakes will not happen anymore. So I hope you found that interesting.